Hey y'all, so welcome back to In the Chat with Kat. Of course, I'm the Catherine W, the Catherine Williams, that girl Cat underscore the stylist. So make sure you guys are following me on Instagram and all my social platforms. But definitely make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, the Catherine William 1. So not Williams, but William 1. But today, and in the chat with Kat, baby, what are we going to get into first? Because a lot has been going on. I'm not sure if you guys have seen the roast, the Kevin Hart roast. Obviously, my favorite part was Cat Williams, because I am a diehard Cat Williams fan. Did not really care for the roast, and we're going to get into that. Last week, if you tuned in, we were definitely talking about cancel culture and how it works and how effective it is, because at this point, it's really just a saying. Like, there's really no such thing as cancel culture. Like, we have a whole man in the White House saying whatever the hell he want to say, and we ain't doing nothing about it. We got Charlie Kirk known for saying what he want to say, and we see what happened to him. His wife out here living her best life. Drewski makes a skit about conservative women, and that side tries to counsel him. And it goes back to this whole Kevin Hart roast situation, because our comedians protected, right? Under cancel culture, our comedians protected. Should they have the right to really just like take it there when it comes to a punchline or a joke? Or should they kind of still be mindful of the jokes that they tell? And it just really goes back to a lot of situations where we start seeing the divide in generations, where certain generations are really more sensitive than some of us. And then it's our generation where it was just like, they've said worse. Like, they have really counseled out certain words. Like, you cannot say faggot. You cannot say retard. You cannot say, I'm trying to think of some stuff that you cannot say without getting counseled. And it's interesting because it's just like, wow, we've reached a day and age where people can get counseled for saying those things, but not the N word. Yep. That's where we are in cancel culture. Because I guess, too, I think the trend that I'm noticing is, and I think the Kevin Hart roast highlighted it, was that you can get counseled for offending any group but the black race. I'm just saying. How ironic, right? You can get counseled for offending every group but black people. If you offend black people, it's like, it wasn't that bad. Because why did Kevin Hart roast have a skit about George Floyd? I don't know. I was even offended by the jokes about Pete Davidson's dad, because I guess growing up in the black community and like really knowing what it is to like high side and roast people and like Jones on people, like these are all the names we call it when you're roasting somebody. Certain things you really just try to stick to. And typically when you're roasting a person, it's really you try to stick to that person. And with the ideal of how they set the roast up is that you roast that person and then you roast a panel of people that's roasting that person. So y'all should have had enough material to where Cheryl husband didn't come up, Pete Davidson dad didn't come up, George Floyd surely should not have come up. Like, and then I think I spoke on this earlier this week on my In the Chat page. Another thing that really bothered me and stuck out a lot is that a lot of the comedians had to read from a teleprompter, and then a lot of the comedians mentioned to a degree that the jokes were written for them. That's not weird to y'all? Like, sorry. These people are comedians. This is their job. That's like me going to like a hair battle and then I'm like apologizing to the judges or the viewers or whatever, because it's like, oh, I didn't do these looks. These were like, my assistant did these looks. So many interesting moving parts about this roast. I think the most interesting part is the question that comes up after. It's like, why was so many slave jokes made? Tom Brady apparently had the most viewed roast. And I just want to know if there was that many slave owner jokes made about him. I'm just saying. And then the other thing is, too, one of the reasons I don't like Kevin Hart like that. And like, this is something, too, I want to break down. I do not like Kevin Hart like that. However, because he's a black man and I do feel like he does a lot of positive things for his genre, I do support Kevin Hart. So I will watch his stuff. The same, like, I love Tyler Perry. And I remember having a conversation when Straw came out about like how his stuff is super redundant or it's just like outlandish as far as like how the storyline is written. And like when the person was talking, like I was so quiet and it was like, what? And I was like, I feel you, but I'ma support Tyler Perry on everything he do. Because it's just something about anybody that looks like me that's doing something positive, especially like opening more doors for people, that makes me say, you know what? I might not like you as a person because I'm not a hater, but I'm going to support you because at the end of the day, you're doing something that is needed. And like, let's not act like Kevin Hart hasn't created avenues or lanes for people, which brings me back to the roast. Tiffany Haddish was there. So I don't think she's funny neither. Let's just say that. I don't think she's funny. I don't think she's, like certain movies I've watched her in, like she's had moments, but she's probably had as many funny moments to me as the actors or actresses that she was standing next to. So clearly wasn't nothing improvised, right? And when I'm speaking on the improvisation of a comedian, I'm speaking to the degree of like, I recently just learned that on Martin or Varnell, well, when Varnell Hill came on, I just learned that him and Thomas Davidson did not kind of really like follow any of the script. Like they improvised the entire little set, especially when they were at the radio station. And that is like my favorite scene, y'all, because my favorite part was when Martin asked him, did he have a pool? And Tommy Davidson, being Varnell Hill, was like, nah, I don't have a pool. He got me. And Martin's line, which I just learned was improvised. Well, more so his comedic genius was him saying, I knew I got your ass. And then Varnell, who is still in the improvised space, says, yeah, but we got a lake. We got the Varnell Lake. And he's like, we got catfish. Catfish delicious. Like, that is the comedic genius I feel like I was looking for at the comedy roast for Kevin Hart. Like I said, I'm not a fan of his. I'm a supporter though, however, but I'm not a fan. Obviously, like I said earlier this week, my favorite part was Cat Williams. I am a diehard Cat Williams, obviously, because he's a Virgo and we share a name. So with that being said, like, he was the best part. I thank you, Regina. I thank you, Regina, for bringing Cat out, because that was probably the best part of the show for a lot of us. Because sitting there listening to jokes and you can't really reference the punchline. Look, what was Easy real name? My cousin real name was Eric Ross. Why? Who is this? Who is this? Fuck. Whoa. But yes, going back to in the chat, Cat Williams, to me, like, he to me supported everything he said on Shannon Sharp show. He came in like, hey, and then he came in like the Grand Reaper. A lot of people say he came in like Duck Dynasty, or what is the duck from Looney Tunes? One of them ducks, I forgot his name, but he did once they put the picture next to each other. But at the same time, I love that he came in like the Grand Reaper. He stole the show, in my opinion. The Rock only stole the show because The Rock was drunk off his ass. He was so drunk that was probably the best promotion for Terramana, because who went and grabbed him a bottle of Terramana the next day? Indeed. Because I was like, I want to feel how The Rock was feeling. Because he was stumbling on the stairs. I couldn't even. But getting back to our topic of cancel culture, why is even cancel culture necessary? It's supposed to be necessary to keep certain people in order, but we're going to say accountable, because because that's really what the reality is supposed to be, right? Keeping people accountable. So we counsel you for a minute. Thank you, bro. But we have counsel culture for the space of keeping people, high profiles, accountable for the things that they say, because mind you, they have a heavy influence. So if they're saying negative things, especially like let's go back to 2020, right? When we had COVID. And when people were saying negative stuff about who created the space for COVID, they were saying Asian people. Asian people started saying a heavy attack. And then we can go all the way back to September 11. I was like in the 7th grade, I feel like. Iranians or Muslim people started getting attacked because here you have a high profile person saying, this is the person. If you see him, I'm going to attack him. I'm going to do this. And so they have too much influence, right? And so that is why council culture should be necessary to keep people accountable for the things that they say and do. Even going to Kevin Hart, only a few, I think Cat Williams was probably the only one. Cat Williams and maybe another person were the only two that brought up, why he almost got canceled with the whole, if my son was gay, I'd smash him upside the head with a dollhouse. I'm not laughing at the comment. I'm laughing because Cat Williams joke, y'all. Like I told somebody earlier, if you want to watch it, hey, do your thing. But my advice to people that want to watch it and you really want to get to the funny part, fast forward that thing 2 hours and 30 minutes. Because that was a 3 hour and 51 minute, 2 hour and 51 minute special. I did not want to do it. And had someone told me that Cat was at the end, I would have skipped to the end and watched that. But I sat there and I watched the whole thing thinking it's going to get better. Cheryl, like I said, she was pretty good. Her and Chelsea Handler are not my style of comedic genius because they are women. So a lot of times with women that's in comedy, they have to heavily talk about sex or their sex lives or all this other stuff. They have to be explicit in a degree, I guess, to get attention. It almost goes back to like women in rap. Like anytime women have a certain platform, they have to be explicit to a degree, which sucks. But hey, that is their niche because they're both good at what they do. Because Chelsea Handler, I think, was also another person that was funny. I feel like that was it. As far as the people that were not comedians that were funny, Teyana Taylor could have kept that. Lizzo could have kept that. What? And then I kept wondering why they keep booing my boy Draymond Green. But apparently people don't like him. And I love Draymond Green. He's so funny to me. But I guess again, everybody's humor is not the same cup of tea. But they booed the hell out of him. Every time they gave him some type of spotlight, even when people was cracking jokes at him, they was like, I'm like, damn, Draymond, they canceled you and you still up here smiling. I love it for you, my boy. But in the space of counsel culture, it just shows that, like I said last week, we only counsel people we don't like. We don't counsel people we like. We don't counsel people that, because look at Chris Brown, right? Chris Brown's going on his Upteen tour, still selling albums. I know he has a small demographic, and I won't even bring up the Rihanna situation, but it's a number of other things that this man has said and done. And people, especially his demographic is black women, still support him. Ursha had a whole situation going on where he was the herp allegedly giving people stuff. The honest man was doing a whole Vegas residency feeding cherries to people. Because people like him. You can't cancel him. Even came up in the Diddy files. Nobody spoke about Ursha was on tour during the Diddy files. Which makes me wonder too, because we've counseled Diddy, we've counseled R. Kelly. To a degree, we've counseled R. Kelly, right? Because if R. Kelly music come on, it's over for all of us. We can't even help it. We back. The remix of Ignition, hopping fresh out the kitchen, love mama rolling that body, got every man in here wishing. We're back to it. So really, what is the structure of council culture? And like, why do we specifically try to counsel people who have made a career out of saying outrageous stuff, i.e. comedians? Like, I didn't laugh at everything, like I said, with the roast. I didn't care for all the jokes neither. But because that is their livelihood, like, and they have a market for those jokes. Like, when they tell those jokes to somebody, people was laughing in an audience. Which means we might not find it funny, but they found it funny. They was Kevin Hart bucking and cooning over there on the couch. He even found a lot of that stuff funny. Yeah, we was sitting in the bed watching it like, whose man's is this? Like, oh God. Like, bruh, what was funny about that? To the point where you got head ass. Like, so that's why my thing is, in the space and degree of council culture and our true understanding of it, is to hold high profiles accountable for the things that they say and do. Who have we effectively done it to? Civilians. No celebrities. Because even at one point where the baby was wilding, right? And shot somebody, fought somebody, stopped a girl with the phone, called out gays and people with AIDS. Yeah, I was supposed to be counseling that boy. Still out here performing, making money. And by no means am I saying or trying to encourage people to counsel. I'm just trying to get an understanding around how the counsel culture works and how effective it really is. Like I said, we have a whole POTUS saying crazy stuff. These people just asked this man, have you thought about Americans' financial state while we're going into negotiations? Nah. He don't care that we paying $5 for gas in the South, probably paying $10 on the West Coast. And luckily for the North, they don't even really like, when I say the North, y'all, because mind you, I'm from the South, so I might be having the demographics wrong. But when I say the North, I'm talking about like New York and stuff like that. They ride in trains and buses. Like, that is their everyday commute for most people. Like, for majority of those people, that is not our everyday commute. So to have to go to the gas station and put $4 a gallon in my tank, and this is something too we gotta learn from these people. Ain't no hold them accountable. That's why council culture only works for us. Ain't no holding them accountable. They over here in Tennessee, they over in Louisiana, they at every court circuit right now, Supreme Court circuit for most of the places in the South, trying to basically redline black votes. That's what I'm gonna call it. Jim Crow black votes. Already stripped DEI program. How y'all think y'all seeing these people that's not qualified next to the president? That's a long game. That's why I understand too when high profiles in the black community get irritated with black people, because one, we don't listen. For whatever reason, we really be thinking that the other side gonna tell us the truth more than our side. And they tell y'all votes don't matter. Y'all like, see, voting don't matter. Well, how did we get here? Where our gas is $4. We just got out of a space where eggs was $5. Can't even really afford to cook a whole meal. And the crazy part about some stuff that people don't even like to see as reality, that be real, is if voting for Trump wasn't so bad, where are the people at now that was talking loud and proud, being a part of MAGA before they voted for him? Why they not talking about canceling this man, doing something to remove him from his position? Because they know they did a double whammy on us. Not only did they put him in his position, but they allowed J.D. Vance to be our vice president. So if something does happen to Trump, God forbid, we gotta have JD Vance. He a flip-flopper. He was a whole Democratic politician. Did in order to be Trump's running mate because nobody wanted to run with him. Like, I be really needing my people to see stuff for what it is, especially because we be normally seeing real life situations for what it is until it comes to politics. Then we let these people play in our face. Like, how that work, y'all? We be in a hood at a whole party before some stuff even pop off. We like, yeah, we about to head out. You get up the block, you hear something, you already know what it is. You seen and started feeling the energy. How you not feeling this with Congress? How you not feeling this with our president, our vice president? And then these people don't convince y'all that when we're voting for women, we need to vote for the less of the two evils. No council culture for them, no. Just for us. The public helping the elites keep high profiles in line when they go against the elite's agenda. Those are just my theories. I would love to hear from you guys on what you guys think. At the end of the day, like I said, council culture is, to me, at this point, it's just a phrase. Like, it's literally just a phrase. Nobody other than civilians have been counseled. We've seen people find people's job information, find out where they go to school, and submit all this information about their, I guess, core values or in their integrity to the schools or their jobs or their employers. And then they be fired and the employer come out and say, this person no longer works for us because we do not have the same values or standards. Never see Universal Studios come forward, the NFL, the NBA. None of them come forward for that side. These people, and be like, yeah, we released them. Even with the football scandal that just happened with my boy, I think this is college football, which is crazy. I already had a bunny. Still want more bunnies. Making damn near like 30 million, I believe. Now you done got caught up. Lost the money. Lost the bunny. No self-control. None. What they do? Take your job. Wife done dip. She got the kids. She getting some alimony, some child support, spousal support. New bunny. Probably low-key can press charges because she was younger than you. So she can say, well, I just thought that's what I had to do. So now you the only nigga with a noose on you. Hung yourself. Culture counsel you because pick the wrong side. Twice. So again, hey, how does council culture work? It's only for us? We the only ones that can be counseled? Like, I don't really never hear about them being counseled. Ever. Ever. Crazy work, right? They don't lose endorsements. They don't lose shoe brands. Rick Ross got counseled for rapping about putting Molly in a girl drink. When we know in this day and age, we can't believe half the stuff we hear about rappers. We can't believe half the stuff they say in their rap songs. But Adidas believed it. Canceled the contract. They do something. They get more clout. I'm just trying to understand how council culture work. We talked about this, like I said, last week. Came to the conclusion that people only counsel people they don't like. People like you, you got a chance. You got a chance for people to forget that even happened. Like, let's get to my girl, Cheyenne Bryan, or whatever her name is. Because I refuse to call her Dr. Bryan, Cheyenne Bryan. You won't even provide the credentials for me to even want to address you like that. And I've seen a few people saying, I don't like the dog pile on black women. Here we go with this accountability. Just because she high profile and she cute, now all of a sudden, and that's the pretty privilege that she swears she don't get, but she definitely getting. She said something about she got pretty hate. Like, because she's pretty, people hating on her. No, bitch, because you're not a doctor and you're referencing yourself as a doctor and a therapist. Saying that you had sessions with celebrities, but those were interviews. Nowhere in those interview spaces did they say, thank you guys for joining me for my live session with Dr. Cam Newton didn't say it. And the issue I have is because, and this is like on some real, a doctor's degree is high level next to being a lawyer, right? I'm serious. I'm that serious about my whole certification in hairstyling, cosmetology, being a master cosmetologist. Like, I'm not the same as somebody that ain't got no license. I put in blood, sweat, and tears and money. I failed my test 3 times. Well, 2 times, thank you, Lord. Passed it the 3rd time. Had to really study. Had to really miss parties. Well, my girl said, I'm out to better things. Like, literally, had to miss events, had to miss time doing stuff because I had to really lock in. It was hard going to school as an adult, working full-time at Home Depot, taking clients. At the time, I had TCW radio, so we had the radio show, the podcast. Like, it was a lot going on, but I still had to go to school Tuesday through Friday. From 5, I think it was 5 to 9. And on Saturdays from 8 to 5. For 18 months. So imagine how much work a doctor, a person that has MD or just is referenced as a real doctor has to do. And you think that we hating because we want to see your credentials? Is you cool? Well, we know you're not. Because that's crazy. Like, and then to me, I've never gotten into her like that. That's why I really never talked about her before today. But I definitely will support the space in which she is good at what she does when it comes to being an accountability coach. I think that's what she should really go for. Like, is to be an accountability coach for black men, specifically black athletes or black high profile men, because she is beautiful. She's beautiful. And so we already know men with money and like my boy, what's his name? I forget his name, but he passed. Kevin Samuels used to try to get women to understand. If you are a 5 through a 7, you ain't about to make no nigga with money listen to you. You really just the help. But if you a 9 or a 10, a rich nigga probably gonna listen to you enough to where he feel like he can get close enough to get them, you know what? And then after that, it's like, girl, whatever, shut up. So that is one thing I will give her, is that she got the look and the clout to where she could have just really called herself an accountability coach. Like, and her slogan could be holding black rich niggas accountable. Literally. Holding these black rich niggas accountable. Because I did like a lot of the things that she said when she was talking to Cam Newton. I liked some of this. I liked a lot of the stuff she said when she was talking to Nick Cannon. Like, you see the route she was going. Like, and that's why I'm saying she'd be a really good accountability coach. For like the niggas that's moving like Cam Newton and Nick Cannon, that's creating all these broken homes. That's your platform, sis. That's your niche. You can drop the doctor, because we know you ain't one. Because, baby, I will quickly show y'all not only my Texas cosmetology license, but the Georgia one too. And when I finish this real estate school, I'm going to be posting that too. Because like the people said, we be proud of these moments because one, our ancestors were our ancestors' wildest dreams. They didn't even think we could make it this far, let alone get to these stages. And here we are, and you faking. You're an imposter. We talked about this imposter syndrome. I think that was the second episode. We talked about imposter syndrome. Sis is a whole imposter. How do you imposter a doctor? And then get mad and start cursing us out? Because she shocked the hell out of me, y'all. When sis started cussing us out. When sister said, and I ain't going over this shit no more. Wow. Cheyenne. Now how you gonna talk to us like that because we want to see your credentials? She got away with it though. Low key. People not talking about counseling her, but people are concerned. It's definitely giving Rachel Dolezal. Like, I'm black because I need affirmative action. I bet Rachel ain't black no more without this DEI program. I bet she went back to her side. But, needless to say, y'all, it's just one of those things where it's just like, so you want to be a fake doctor. Kevin Hart up here shucking and jiving for the white people, allowing them to call us slaves. Cat Williams the only person that's going to stand up there and tell the truth. And then we got council culture that ain't even effective like it's supposed to be. And when I don't even like talking about what's going on in the White House, because that's a whole hot ass mess. Gas $5 in the South. Barely can make it to work, let alone make it back home, and then still pay the same high ass bills we got for rent, bread, food. If you got kids, I don't even know how you doing it. Like, I really don't know how you doing it right now if you got kids. Because shit is tight. Like, I'm low-key surprised that people ain't got back to doing all the crazy stuff to try to survive. Because it's crazy out here right now. And like, chat, one thing that I always be trying to stress, like when I talk to my friends, like I talk to people I'm cool with, or like people come to me for advice, or just even random strangers that start talking to me, one thing I'm always big on is reminding them that you are not alone. Like, everybody is struggling right now. I don't care what people be smoking. I mean, smoking. You definitely need to be smoking right now. But I don't care what people be posting. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors right now. Nothing is what you think it is in anybody's circumstances. Trust me, like you over there trying to figure out how to rob Peter to pay Paul, 9 times out of 10 they used to. Nobody got it like that. And if they still moving like they got it like that, they moving with they last, I promise you. So those be the things that you gotta really talk about. Hey, Twin. Shout out to Twin, y'all. Girls just had cocktails and conversations. Hope we don't gotta wait a whole nother 20 years for the next one, because the shit was lit. Great questions. One of the questions that stood out to me the most was because we talked about this Glorilla situation with her sister. Just seeing her sister doing a whole bundles ad, crazy, because she looked just like Glo. But are you responsible? Like, if you become successful, are you responsible for taking care of your family and some friends? That's the question I'm going to leave in the chat. Like, are you responsible for taking care of your friends and family if you get rich? Because a lot of people be feeling like you should. And they be ready for that. Like, as soon as we make some money, some people don't be having no shame. We be sitting at the combines. When they be having NFL drives, like, you be seeing all the people that be on the couch with them, all the people that's back there, like, they just as excited. They excited because they think we getting out the hood. They like, we made it. No, nigga, I made it. You better find something to do to get paid. That's my energy. Like, I'm not I'm not on no like, oh yeah, I got you. No. Granny girl, you better be an assistant, a butler, a driver, or son, Granny. I can't just be taking care of you, girl. What was you gonna do if I didn't get this money? So that's the real question. Let me see. I was trying to see if I could add you. So, as we said earlier, a lot to be discussed. Like I said, to make sure you guys leave the comments, leave it in the chat. Let me know what y'all really think about cancel culture, because I don't really think anything exists about cancel culture other than the phrase, and then it works more efficiently for regular civilians more than it does the high profiles that I feel it was originally designed to keep accountable for the things that they say and do that may affect or influence someone to affect a community or a group. And so in that capacity, it's just one of those things where let's stop making up phrases and just do the shit. Like, at this point, stop putting a name to stuff and just really stand on business. If you're not going to support them, you're not going to buy their music, you're not going to go see their movies, do it. Don't try to make it a movement. You do it alone. And then over time, like, people was irritated with how Kevin was on the stage cackling. And meanwhile, my girl Regina was over there like, ain't shit funny. Like, that's why I love black women. That's why I love us. Because we don't give a fuck about none of that. We be like, ain't shit funny. Too many Rachel jokes. Too many dick in the ass jokes. Like, what are we talking about? Where is the funny? That's what his roast should have been. Not the roast of Kevin Hart, the GOAT. Should have been, where's the funny? So, I appreciate you guys for joining me. I will definitely see you guys next week. Same time, same channel. Make sure you subscribe, because we cannot go live on YouTube until we have 1,000 subscribers. And we can't go live on In the Chat with Kat page until we have 1,000 followers. So, 2 goals of mine to work through this summer. Definitely going to get there. Again, shout out to my girl Twin. Great event. Conversations and cocktails. Left on my ass because the cocktail was definitely hidden. The conversation was definitely on par. And I'm happy that I could be a part of it. It was probably one of the funnest things I've done here in Atlanta since I've been here. So definitely looking forward to the next one. Like I said, baby, don't make us wait 20 years. The people needs a show. No. But I will see you guys next week, and make sure you follow and subscribe to all of my other platforms. I'm on TikTok daily at the Catherine W. And then, of course, if you're in the Atlanta area, baby, you need that wig tighten, hit me up at cat_the stylist. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.